Today on the newscast, we are in Jerusalem for an up-close look at the ancient pilgrimage road that Jesus most certainly walked up to the Temple Mount. That's next. Hey folks, Erick Stakelbeck here. Welcome to the Watchman Newscast from Jerusalem. Not a bad view here at TBN's Jerusalem studio. Today is the last day of Ramadan, and we did have once again some unrest atop the Temple Mount. Palestinian rioters using the Al-Aqsa Mosque as a place to store weapons. They pelted Israeli police with stones and firecrackers. Thankfully, it seems that the unrest has largely died down. Israeli police got a handle on it pretty quickly today, so hopefully Ramadan closes on a relatively quiet note here in Jerusalem. In the meantime, the battle over the Temple Mount continues. Folks, this is the most coveted piece of real estate in the world, bar none. It was once home to the two ancient Jewish temples, Solomon's Temple and Herod's Temple, as described in the Bible. Today it is home to the Dome of the Rock and the Al-Aqsa Mosque, two Muslim holy sites. And we have the likes of Hamas painting themselves as the defenders of the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Temple Mount, and they literally have incited these riots over the past several weeks. So that continues, although Ramadan is ending, and that's always a time of heightened tension here in Jerusalem. The problem with Hamas using Jerusalem as a trigger for possibly a broader confrontation, that will continue. Remember, about 1 year ago, May 2021, that is what sparked that 11-day Hamas-Israel war. Hamas kicked that conflict off by firing rockets at Jerusalem. There's a lot of talk by the likes of Hamas who say there never was a Jewish temple above, on top of the Temple Mount, that this has always been a Muslim holy site. So I thought this was a good time, with everything going on surrounding the Temple Mount, to take it back in the Watchman archives for a very important segment that we did with our good friend Ze'ev Orenstein of the City of David. We had an up-close look at the ancient pilgrimage road. Now, in the Bible, you have the Pool of Siloam, where worshipers would cleanse themselves before they went up to the temple, and they went up the temple, to the temple, on that ancient pilgrimage road. Zev gave me an exclusive up-close look when it was really just being uncovered, and I want to give you a look now as well. And there is no doubt, sometimes here in Israel you say, well, maybe Jesus was there. There is no doubt that Jesus and the disciples walked this ancient road as they made their way up to the Temple Mount. Take a look. Okay, Zev, you've already explained how hundreds of thousands of worshipers would ritually cleanse themselves back at the Pool of Siloam before going up to God's holy mountain, worshiping at the temple. But there's just one problem. They had to get there somehow.
Right.
How did they get up and ascend to the temple?
And that's the question that archaeologists were asking back about a decade or so ago, which is, now we know where the Pool of Siloam is. We know where the Temple Mount is. How did these hundreds of thousands of pilgrims who were going up to the Temple Mount and the pilgrimage festivals, how did they get there? So the archaeologists widened the excavation. And what did they discover? They discover the very road that we are walking on now, the 2,000-year-old pilgrimage road that would have taken our ancestors 2,000 years ago. Whether you're today Jewish or Christian, your ancestors would have walked on this road when they ascended to the temple that stood atop the Temple Mount.
This is how they got there.
This is how they got there.
Amazing. 2,000 years ago, during the Second Temple period, this is how worshipers went up to the holiest place in the world,
That's right.
The Temple Mount.
And this also would have been outside. There would have been shops and homes around us. The road would have been much wider than it is today. And it's interesting that on the one hand, we're walking up the pilgrimage road. On the other hand, as we walked up the road, there are portions of the road that are cracked.
I noticed that.
And archaeologists were trying to understand. First they thought, well, maybe they're ancient potholes. But they saw the cracks were evenly spaced, as if somebody made those holes intentionally. And they couldn't figure out why. Why would somebody do that? So they looked to the writings of the historian Josephus. And Josephus says in the year 70, Jerusalem is being destroyed. The temple is in flames. The last Jews of Jerusalem sought refuge from the Romans. Where? In the drainage channel directly beneath our feet.
Wow, so the last holdouts, these people were trying in vain, unfortunately, to hold out against the Romans who were looking to finish the job here in Jerusalem, and it was brutal.
That's right, and the Romans, they find out about it, and they come with sledgehammers. They break open the road. They find the Jews hiding there. And then Josephus goes on to say that the Romans killed all 2,000 Jews they find there.
They massacred them beneath where we're standing.
That's right, and archaeologists find Roman sword and scabbard, presumably one that was used to kill the last 2,000 Jews of Jerusalem.
But that's not all they found here, Ze'ev. On the road to pilgrimage, there were some more fascinating finds.
That's right. In particular, two coins that tell very different stories of what happened here. The first is a Roman coin, the most minted Roman coin to commemorate a victory. On one side of this coin, you see the Roman Emperor Vespasian, the year 71. On the other side of the coin, it says Judea Capta, and you have a Roman legionnaire standing above a Jewish woman on her knees crying. There's another coin that was discovered here, a much more humble coin, small bronze coin, and it says on it, on one side of the coin, in the year 70. On the other side of this coin, it says an ancient Hebrew script, Lecherut Zion, for the freedom of Zion. Zion, of course, being another name for Jerusalem. But scholars have long wondered, why were the Jews minting these coins? Because the coins themselves at that time were worthless. They had no monetary value. Now, the people who minted these coins, they probably thought maybe a few decades, maybe a century. They couldn't imagine it would be nearly 2,000 years. But here we are today, 2,000 years later, standing in the city of David, standing in Jerusalem, the capital of the Jewish state of Israel, standing today here when there is a free Zion, a free Jerusalem, where people of all faiths and backgrounds, Jews, Christians alike, can come here and connect with the significance of Jerusalem.
Ze'ev, God is moving. The God of Israel is moving, and I don't see a Roman flag anywhere here around the city of David, but I do see the Israeli flag, the Star of David. The people of Israel live. Thanks again to our good friend Ze'ev Orenstein for that exclusive look at the pilgrimage road, 2,000 years old from the time of Jesus. Now, at the time I filmed that segment with Ze'ev, it was just being excavated. Now they've come a long way, and soon they will open the pilgrimage road to the public. You may hear some helicopters above, by the way. As I mentioned earlier in this newscast, we had some activity once again here atop the Temple Mount, but things have largely calmed down. Hey, if you love that clip with Ze'ev, you will love the weekly Watchman TV show on TBN. That's where that clip came from. Every Friday night, tonight, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on TBN. Be sure to check it out. Had a lot of fun these past 10 days touring the region from the UAE to Bahrain to Israel as we charted the course of the Abraham Accords. If you missed any of our newscast from the region over the past week, be sure to check it out in our archives. Thanks so much for joining us here from God's holy city. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Until next time, as a traffic jam commences in Jerusalem, like only in Jerusalem, God bless you. And remember, never hold your peace. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Watchman Newscast. If you enjoyed this episode and want to see more, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, click subscribe, and tap the bell icon to turn on notifications for new Watchman Newscast episodes every weekday.